Technical education is very important in our society, and of course the driving force to bring in lots of nation building, things that can actually make the nation prosper, succeed, and move forward. Well, on this note, we'll be talking about technical education and nation building, and we've got some guests in the house who's going to be helping us talk about this all-important topic this morning. And I'm talking about Professor Ngozi Chuma Ude, a professor of English, former Dean Faculty of Arts, Chukwemeka Odumegwu University, and of course the author of Echoes of a New Dawn and winner African Women Writers 2010 Masterpiece. Good to have you in the house.
Good to have you too. Hi viewer, don't go away.
All right, and we also have in the house Engineer Anthony Anibwe, an electrical engineer and activist, and of course a political analyst. Good to have you in the house.
Thank you very much. Julius, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're talking about technical education and nation building. We want to start from the word technical education. What is technical education? Let's start with you, engineer.
Thank you very much. Technical education is that part of education that involves skill development, skill acquisition. It is that education that helps to transcend, that's to bring down or practicalize the whole essence of education into solving human life, human problem. All the calculus, all the laws, all the hypotheses, all the differential calculus and differentiations cannot be of any use if you don't bring it down to solving the societal problem. Therefore, it is through this technical education that you'll be able to apply the knowledge we have in solving our human problem.
Okay, Professor, let's also hear from you. What's your take? What is technical education to you, and how does it affect nation building?
The Igbo interpretation or translation of technical education is nka nozo. So it has to do with innovation and development of potentialities. I believe in every human being, God has put potentials. So development of technical education involves taking care of these potentials that God has imbued in children coming up and bringing it to maximum utilization.
All right. Engineer, what are the objectives of technical education, especially in a developing country?
Yeah. What actually is development? Development is that act of human being that aims at taking the society from the basics to the expected level we want to be, from where we find ourselves. Basically, sometimes some people say God has not finished creation. After the ones God did, man continued. And that's what technical education tries to do. In every society, when you walk and get to a river, which is God's creation, you must have to pass that river. You must have to either swim across it or walk across it. It is this aspect of education that actually gives us solution to some natural problems that we meet. We can now fly across from before somebody, you can think of what the world would have been without transportation by air, by sea, and the rest of them. So it is technical education that actually is the fundamental, the basis of national development. Nation building has its base on technical education, because like Professor said, Nkanozo, as we call it in Igbo, or Oluaka, is also what we call technical education. So when we apply this aspect of education, we're able to resolve some of the national issues that borders on housing, transportation, even the basic thing of food production, agriculture, and all what's not.
Okay, good. But Prof, it doesn't seem to be the order of the day in Nigeria when it comes to education. Everybody, of course, recently we just saw how many people who wrote the JAMB examination and want to get into the university. It's more of, okay, I want to know what's the difference between general education, vocational education. Of course, now we know what technical education is. So what's the difference between general, vocational, as you get to technical education?
General education is the basal education which everyone should have. But the vocational is the one that a human being is talented and to which a human being wants to devote, because vocation is something you devote your life to. When you are doing something with devotion, it means you put in your all and all. But basic education is that which everybody should have. That which will make you pass along, interact with your fellow human beings. But when you now want to take, like we all went to school, you chose to be a reporter, I chose to be a literary artist. So my vocation is using my work, my talent to improve the society, and that also is what you intend to do in your vocation, and you are putting in your all and all into it.
All right, we're talking about skills, talent, and all that, and we know that a lot of children in our society today, especially in Nigeria, you see a lot of them putting one or two things together, having building a train, building a car, and all that. Do you think that we have an enabling environment to harness these young talents that can produce this kind of thing in our country today, engineer?
Actually, things like that have been reported, things like that have been shown in the media, where you see people, you call them young inventors, people who have not even acquired such level of education you would think that would have enabled them to do such things. But invariably, they seem to have been imbued with that from birth. They come to, yes. And the unfortunate thing is that our environment doesn't seem to encourage things like that, because I have not really seen where children with such talents have been, just like my sister is saying here, in some countries where you bring together people that have such skill, such natural imbued talents, bring them together, nurture them, give them the basic environmental support for them to actually go further. In our society, people can get that, do that, and they drop it out of frustration, simply because there is no support, both from private sector and from the government angle. What I can say in that regard is that all the talents we have in this country is enough to take this country to whatever level we want to take ourselves to, except that we are not actually developing those talents.
Talking about developing those talents, Professor, why is technical education important? Because I said earlier, a lot of people, the number of people who wrote JAMB examinations, and the idea in their head is to go to the university. And of course, we know what happens in the Nigerian university these days, more of the theoretical aspect. Go read, go cram, go pass exam, and come out with your 2-1 or 2-2, or even pass, and just try and get a job. Why is technical education important?
I will tell you. Before technical, that word technical education came into being, the world was moving around with horses and carts. It was during the reign of a woman called Queen Victoria of England that Industrial Revolution started. That is the age of the machines. Before that time, it would take a tailor 2 months to make a shirt like this young man is wearing. But with the age of the machine, the discovery of the machines, it will take the machine 1 minute to roll out thousands and thousands of this shirt. That's Industrial Revolution. That is technicality. So what we are saying is that technicality, as a matter of fact, came in to ease life, to make things easier for human beings.
All right, we'll pause you there. We'll come back so that you explain more on that, but we have to take a short break now. We'll be right back.
320 trillion naira was collected as taxes by the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS). This is the highest ever collected as federal taxes in Nigeria. Taxes have become an important source of revenue, enabling the government to provide greater infrastructural developments in our country. Tax revenues enable government to provide more roads, more railways, more bridges, more housing, more schools, more students in schools, more hospitals, more security, and generate more power. Because Nigeria deserves more. Only your taxes can make all our dreams come true. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. It pays to pay your tax.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still technical education and nation building. We are still talking about that. And then, Prof, you were saying something before we went on the short break. So yes. I want you to conclude before I ask Engineer a question.
Okay, I was talking about technical education and its importance to humanity. And I said the Industrial Revolution started during the Victorian age, and before that time, the world was moving around in carts and horses. But with the Industrial Revolution, this woman brought out her support financially, economically, politically, and in all ramifications. She supported development, such that by the time she died, she ruled England for a long time, almost 80 years. By the time she died, the world has developed such that from the cart to aeroplane, from the horses to cars, and generally things eased off. So what am I trying to say by tracing this history? Technical education needs the support of the government, just as Industrial Revolution was supported by Queen Victoria. If that woman did not support development, we will not have people, we will not have electricity, we will not have even the clock. But so in those days in England, once you have talent, you are supported. The state takes you up immediately, caters for you. Every expenditure belongs to the state.
I think they still do that till now. They still do that till now?
Definitely. They have an association of talented children in America where these children are put together, they brainstorm and continue to discover things.
And the big question is, how do they fish out these talented ones?
Through examinations, through random. Once your child exhibits a kind of talent, you say, look, this child can do this. If a child at 2 years can write, and I mean, it's a talent.
It's a big one.
So they measure IQs, the measurement of IQs also. Yeah.
Well, Engineer, this is a big challenge to technical education in Nigeria, especially. How do we solve this? Is it possible that we can have something like this as done in America, where they have an association, a school where talented, students are put together to brainstorm
from all over the world, not only in America?
Okay. Can we have that in Nigeria when we talk about technical education and nation building?
This is a part of the problem we've been talking about. Nigeria, like I said before, we have all it takes to be where we want to be. Unfortunate thing is that we seem to be having problem of having responsible governance. Unfortunately, like you said, our education system has gone into theoretical presentation of certificates that nobody at times can defend. And government seems to be completely, in fact, appear to be unconcerned. Because, like I told you, I remember those days of recent, somebody was said to have taken a half-built aeroplane built on a motorbike and took it around Anambra State. In fact, I had the opportunity of seeing him push it along Aroma Junction here. I don't know what has happened to that person. If you know what it took him to get to that point, to even paint it and bring it out for government to see.
Sure.
I remember so many, like you said, if you open our social media, you see even people that build even excavators and the rest of them. Now, what has the government done? You're talking about how do you see those people? There are so many ways you can find them. You can locate them from the schools, you can locate them from the homes, you can locate them everywhere. So the problem we are having is that we are having, unquote, an irresponsible government that seem not to bother actually on how to use what we have. They are interested in importing. We want to import car, we want to import plane, we want to import even the food we eat.
Toothpick.
But we have, yes, toothpick. The other day, our Minister for Education, for Science and Technology was talking about that Nigeria will start producing pencil by 2019. This 2019, he said that about 4 years ago. And last time I asked the demonstration, I said, has that 2019 not come? Where is the pencil that Nigeria is being produced? I remember when I was in school, all my pencil and rulers were made in China. Made in China. Up to today, even plank pencil ruler. The rule you use to draw on your this thing is still made in China. Today we cannot produce. But we have people who can produce them here. Yeah, so it is the duty, it is the failure of government. Because they have, why I'm mentioning government is that because government has the resources. Individuals can also help to bring.
Not just lay the blame
on government.
What about stakeholders?
Yes, the private sector. What are they doing in helping to? Because the problem we have is everybody wants to amass wealth and then build the young one around his place, build the White House and an ATM. He doesn't know how to invest in the environment. You will see even the child of your neighbor. The child of your village person who is talented, you cannot give the person support. But these are the problems. And even those that have the support, they would like to stultify it to make it not redundant.
To make it their own project.
Exactly. So I remember there is that wrestler that was said to have been picked from the street. What was that his name? That's not Tyson. There was that hefty wrestler, somebody picked on the street, he was doing weightlifting, picking stone, and they made him an international wrestler. Can't we find private sector people, businessmen who have really gotten this money? In the next few years, you will die. Then this money will still lay waste. Why can't you use it to develop people around you?
Another thing is that we've been talking about the government doing these and the stakeholders or big people that have the money to help out. But then the youths, those people we are talking about, the talented ones, just like Ebere said earlier, most of them, they just want to be a graduate and that's it. Most people are not interested in this technical education we are talking about. And then some of them are really, really talented. So now my question is, how do we advise these people, or how do we get these people to understand that now what a developing country like Nigeria needs is this kind of education? We need to be skilled. We need to be equipped. Where do we start? Is it from the parents, the teachers, or the individuals?
Orientation at all quarters. You see, and if you look at the United States space, you see that most of them go into technical education. Bill Gates dropped out of school, went into technical education, and today he's about the richest man in the world. But we have this orientation that my child must be a graduate. It doesn't really matter which area the child graduated from. If it is the technical university, if it is the polytechnic, it is still okay. The most important thing is actualizing your potentials for the benefit of mankind. That is technicality.
So because time is not really our friend, we have to move. My question to you now, is there hope?
Definitely there is hope, but a lot of things, there are a lot of bottlenecks. Ethnocentrism, tribalism, selfishness, greed, and insensitivity of the people in the leadership, that's the superstructure. So I believe if we can eschew these things, when a child exhibits a kind of talent, do not ask, is he an Igbo? Is he a Yoruba? Is he an Hausa man? He's an Igbo again, Igbo people again. No. Hausa, what do they know? Yoruba people, no. Once we banish these things from our thoughts, I have a book called The Presidential Handshake. It looks at all of us. Okay. All of us who The hero hated the government and the people in power. Then his students became the president. And he discovered that anybody can be the government. It's not a matter of the government. It's our mindset.
All right, thank you. Engineer, finally, what do you think is a way forward?
Unfortunately, I want to tell you that with the way things are going in Nigeria, we still have a very, very, very long way to go, because right now what we are still thinking about is who is going to be from where the president will come next.
2022.
We already started talking about 2023 when we've not even finished 2019 to 2023. We're talking about who is going to the region. Not even the right person. It is the region that we're going to produce the next president. A society that thinks about that borders on things like this. When will they start? I remember when we were in university, we did our projects, graduation projects. We produced a lot of things, and all these things we produce in our projects, we are dumped somewhere. If you go to universities, you see every year you see students, engineering students, technologists, technical students producing one project or the other. At the end of the day, these things are dumped, and these people will just go. You see somebody who read mechanical engineering working in the bank. You get the point? And these things are waste. And you ask me, do we have a hope? Where will this hope start coming from? Unfortunately, I want to say, let it not be that our era will still be a wasted generation again, because the one that left before we came in are wasted generation, and let our own not be.
God forbid. Of course, we do have hope, and we hope that tomorrow it's going to be better. Thank you so much, Professor Ngozi Chibu, the Professor of English and former Dean Faculty of Arts, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
And to you, Engineer Anthony Anyebo, electrical engineer and activist. Okay, electronics engineer.
Electronics.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Good Morning Anambra. It's been a fun-filled edition, an informative edition, but hopefully we'll be back tomorrow again for Wednesday's edition. My name is Chidima Oramwa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here and good to have you guys there. A very organized my name. 9 o'clock over time for this morning news, and at 9:15 we'll take you to the world of sports. Many thanks for joining us. Good morning.